These should be your top 5 considerations when buying land. What should be your top 5 considerations when buying land? Of course, this is my opinion, and it assumes that you've already figured out where you want to buy land and general area, and that you know what you want to use the land for. Let's get into it. Number 1 on my list is allowed uses. Every property is going to be governed by either local county agency or the city. And sometimes you even have an HOA or property owners association that are going to have regulations that affect how you can use the property. So it's important to understand all these different restrictions and regulations and how they'll affect how you want to use the property. Number 2 should be access, both legal and physical. Is there a legal, deeded, and recorded easement to the property that gives you the legal access and the right to get to your property? And does the property have the physical access that will meet your needs? So whether that be a paved road to the property, or all-weather road, year-round road, or are you okay with seasonal access? Number 3 would be easements. Is the property affected by any easements that are either recorded or not recorded? Any kind of deed restrictions that allow others to access your property or restrict how you can use your property? This road I'm on would be a great example. This is a road that cuts through the property that I'm on, and it splits it, not quite in half, but some cases it is in half. In this case, it's about 3/4 of the property on one side and 1/4 on the other. Easements come in other forms too. It could be utility easements. So behind me here, there's PG&E power poles. So in this case, this property, there's utility easement that runs through the property. There could also be conservation, scenic conservation easements or archaeological easements. All these can restrict what you can do on the property or where you can do it. Number 4 would be water. And that could come in the form of a municipal water systems like city water, or it could be private or shared well. And if it's a private well, you're going to want to know quite a bit of information on it, including if it was permitted. If it's a shared well, make sure there's a shared well agreement. And sometimes the well is off-site on the neighboring parcel, and you're going to want to make sure you have a well agreement and a well easement across that property onto yours. If the property you're looking at is serviced by a municipal, a city, or a community water system, you're going to want to find out where the water is. So do you have to tap into the main line in the street, or is there a water service that's already been run into the property? If there is a water service already in the property, does it have a meter, a water meter? And if it doesn't have a water meter, you're going to want to find out from that agency or water system manager what it's going to take to get a water meter, if there's any restrictions on getting a water meter, and if there's some agencies that may have put a moratorium on issuing new water meters. So those are all important things to find out. Number 5 are the surface characteristics of the property. And they need to match up what it is you want to use the property for. So is there flat land? Is it brush? Is it mountainous? So those are the kind of things you're going to want to understand. It can include soil conditions, soil types, and even surface water features such as streams, creeks, rivers, ponds, understanding the flood zones, and the overall usability of the land that'll match what it is you want to use the land for. That could also include property lines, shape of the property boundaries. So those would be my initial top 5 considerations when buying land. And it doesn't mean they're in any real particular order. You might say, well, isn't water the most important? It depends. If you can't get to the property, if you can't use the property because of zoning regulations, like you'd like to use it, then whether there's water or not wouldn't really matter. Ultimately, it's going to depend on your intended use and what it is you're looking for and what your priority list would be. There's many more. This is just the beginning, the top 5 that I would recommend starting off with. And these are 5 that you can learn about before you even go look at the property. As I mentioned at the beginning of this video, this all assumes that you already know the general geographic location where you want to buy the land and what your intended use would be. I hope you found this video useful, and I'd love to hear in the comments what your top 5 considerations in buying land would be.